Okay, I call this meeting to order. This meeting and all other meetings of this council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted, given to the press in accordance with the statutes, so the citizenry may be aware of the time and place and agenda of this meeting. Roll call.
Appleby?
Yeah.
Runner?
Aye.
Here.
Gunderson?
Here.
Kemp?
Here.
Nadolski?
Here.
Rasmussen?
Here. Okay, number one, discuss possible action on award of bids for A16. We've discussed this several times. That has come up with the conclusion that there was it, $56 difference in the two bids?
Yeah, and there is one thing to add. So the top, coming down to the subtotal on that handout that you have, shows you everything that you guys had voted for last week. In general, what you wanted. The wall, the sidewalk on West Main Street with the wall, the manhole repairs, sidewalk repairs, parking lot. Now what's interesting to note is there were a couple of figures that we tossed out, and we were looking at Summers as being the low bidder on those items. One number was the sidewalk being $15,000 plus the wall being an extra $6,000 to get to $21,000. That's the number for Summers. If you add in all those items and additionally the private paving of the alleyway by the Maytag, it flips the low bidder to be Vinton Construction in Manitowoc. Now, when you look back at Vinton, Vinton's costs are not $21,000 for that sidewalk with a wall. They're closer to $18,000, which you'll see on there. They're also a little bit cheaper.
Manhole repairs.
Yeah.
On the manhole repairs. And then if you look down at the alternate to allow for the alleyway paving for the Maytag, instead of being $3,100, it comes up to about $2,900. So the one item that we did not vote on or approve had to do with private paving, which we put in as alternates. And there were two items that we put in. One was to do the pavement behind the businesses that connects to the parking lot. And as you look back at behind these businesses, nearly every one of them has a concrete pad behind their business. And so it's very likely that there wouldn't be much private paving in the back, if any. But the one thing that we could do is the private paving in the alleyway by the Maytag. John Newman has indicated, and I do have an email in writing, where he said he is interested in having that done through our contract. He would be willing to pay it, and then he would work with Attorney Worth, because there's a little bit of a hang up on how much. There's 12 feet, whether the Maytag has 11 feet, or all of it, or 10 feet. But John Newman said he wants to get that done. He would pay for it. On a side note, if the council decides to award it, he'd like to talk to the council about granting a public access way to keep that open. I think there was some comment at one of the public meetings that that's private property and that he could go ahead and gate that off or fence it off at some point because it's private property. He would like to talk to the council about maintaining that as an open area, and with that he will probably also ask if the council is interested in participating financially in redoing that. That's not really part of the award. Right now, what you're looking to do is do you want to have that alleyway as part of your contract? And the answer from the Maytag is yes, they would like that. The other numbers that were a little bit off, and you'll remember at the council meeting on the colored concrete, I had tossed out a number $700-800 in savings. That is the Vinton number. And so the Summers number is $1,900 that you could save. But the Vinton number would be about $800 or so, is what you would save on colored concrete. That's not an issue for the award itself because it wasn't put in as an alternate. So the award has to be on the actual alternates that are out there. And then if you wanted to change order out the colored concrete, you could. But the thought is if you go with Vinton, you're not getting the $2,000 back, it would be $800. And then the question is, if you go with Vinton, is $800 worth it to have plain concrete or colored? But that'll be in April. So what we're looking at right now, as the mayor said, is those items that are on the top that come to your subtotal, it shows Summers as the low bidder. If you want to include the Maytag paving for that alleyway, it turns Vinton over to be like by $55, $56. They're the low bidder on $165,000 worth of projects. We checked with city attorney and with the engineer on awarding of contracts. Vinton is in Manitowoc, Summers is in Shiocton. Whether there was any consideration that could be given to a more local company, and I'm not sure if Shiocton's local, but we looked into that. The answer from the city attorney, or the recommendation, is that whoever's the low bidder for the options you want to go with is who you should proceed with.
Okay, any questions?
So that alleyway actually would cost $2,400. Is that right?
2,900.
2,900 between, but that is not included in Summers' top bid here of 133?
No, because it's a base bid for the parking lot.
Okay,
And then the private paving is included as alternates, and there's 3 alternates. We summarize the total. One alternate is they come in and they take out the existing asphalt. The next alternate is that they put in a new base, and then the third alternate is that they pave it. So the whole package to redo that alleyway, it's $3,100 through Summers, and I do have the number right here. 2,900 to 36, I think.
Yep.
If you go with Vinton.
And are they tearing it all out and put a new base? Is that what they're doing?
If you select that, they would, yeah.
Yeah.
And really, it's work being done for the private property owners. We would just work, essentially what we got is a better price through the contract that we're working.
The idea is to keep that alleyway open. If we're gonna redo the parking lot, we gotta have a way for people to get through.
I'm good with it.
Any other questions?
Oh, just one quick comment is, with the timing involved, you would want to, we'd be looking for an award
Yeah.
to one or the other tonight.
Make a motion to award Vinton Construction with the contract for the total project of $165,365.25.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to award this contract to Vinton Construction.
So the whole parking lot you're saying is gonna be concrete?
No,
Blacktop.
blacktop.
asphalt.
Would the
Just
question
that-
about the colored concrete would just be that
Concrete
center
on the
island
island.
thing?
With the
Could make
lights
it
are-
colored if we wanted, but it was cost savings just to make it straight concrete.
So we didn't, so for the black topping portion, we can't look at some of the local people?
We did. That's what he just said. It was all concrete.
None of the local ones, but.
Mean local blacktop?
Yeah,
Oh,
local
so
black
They
topping.
didn't bid it.
My
This is a bid job.
understanding is that these companies are subbing out the asphalt work. I don't know off the top of my head who exactly
Yeah,
their
Actually,
subcontractors would be.
Thad had told me that,
Is it American?
Shiocton Blacktop had a pretty good bid in it, and Northeast Asphalt was another one.
Oh, sure,
And I think.
American
London
does a lot of
Asphalt.
work then
Two
too.
local ones in there, but that's,
Yeah.
They're local, but they're subbed out.
yeah,
So,
they're all stuff.
which makes sense.
They're not specified on here, but. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Number 2, discussion and possible action on Coakley Brothers moving all this furniture and setting it up in the new city hall per bid. And you all have a copy of their bid here.
Only question I had is what else are they moving?
Yeah, so it's on their quote, it's listed out. The furniture itself is all of the donated furniture from Ripon. So it's 3 of the wooden desks, like you'll see on the front page here. And then what I did is I've got 3 pages of the pictures, how it looked and how it looks when it's coming apart. Because in Ripon, it's actually installed into the wall with overhead cabinets and things like that. Coakley has it listed out on their quote here. the reason it's in front of you is because of the cost. But it's $5,750 is what they're estimating for their work. They're sending 1 installation supervisor, 4 furniture installers, 2 relocation professionals, which is gonna be, people that'll pick up and move, add them over while there's other installers working on the actual the furniture. And then they're gonna have, either a straight truck or a van, so rather than haul it down the sidewalk, they can move it, that way. But they're looking at, in their quote for $5,750, it's 1 conference table and chairs, which is this. One of these legs is really bashed in, and so they would be repairing that then too. Because what happened is when 2 men in a truck brought it over, there's sandbags that hold this down. And the sandbags were in there and beat up the inside of these legs here. So they'd take this down, move that over. The credenza is that piece of furniture with the drawers in it, is what is in their quote. And then we do have a whiteboard cabinet, which is a whiteboard. It's in the back, but it hangs on the wall. It's gonna probably go in a conference room. And it closes up in a cabinet and it'll open up for a whiteboard. But then we also have then the 3 Kimball desk units, which is the wooden desk that we sit at. And then 4 cubicles. And those 4 cubicles are going to be creatively put together in the police department. They're not going to be set up in the same manner as they were in the Ripon office, which is the picture on there. And the reason why is because in Ripon they had 3 walls to work with, where they built all this stuff into the walls. In the police department, we have an area where there's 2 walls. And so Coakley sells this furniture. Actually, one of the reps from Coakley worked for Johnson and bought this furniture for Johnson Insurance or Johnson Bank, so they were very familiar with it when they saw it. We did ask if we would move the conference table, some of these other items, what would a savings be, and they said it's about $160 you could cut off. The big effort is in tearing down these desks. What they're gonna look at too is a lot of the desks are scuffed up, and they were scuffed up when we got them, just from chairs and normal wear and tear. They'll look at buffing those out and repairing that. And again, you know, the desks here aren't set up the way they're supposed to be because we weren't really trusting in the walls on hanging anything. We just didn't want to take the walls down at all. But when you look through these pictures here, you'll see there's like a track system that gets mounted into the wall. So that bottom picture will show you that desk on the top, on the front page, there's tracks that go all the way around that hold that desk into the side wall. If you go to the second page, it'll show on these wooden desks the overhead cabinets. And it'll show you that there's a track system on the wall that holds those in too. And then on the third page, it shows the cubicles. And now the cubicles are torn down and they also work into a track on the wall. Like I said, the creative section is going to be putting these together in the police department without missing one of the walls. I can tell you that on these wooden desks, we could probably take a look at taking them down and putting them back together. But what I wanted to do was get a quote from the actual professionals that will warranty this work. And they'll make sure that when it's installed the way it's supposed to be too. And again, on this furniture, this is the donated furniture. And so we paid to move it here, which, you know, was a little bit of an expense. The intent would be if we could get a quote or if we could approve a quote, we could also get it professionally moved and installed. One of the wooden desks is actually just like 8 inches too long for one of the offices in the police department. And so with that quote, what they will do is cut it down, sand it up, and make sure that it fits into, it's like a 10-foot long section that needs to fit into about a 10-foot or a 9'4" room. So that's part of their quote too. So the reason I've got it for you is we have them where they're able to line up for April 21st, which is actually going to be moving day, April 21st. They're able to come and do this, but because of the cost involved, I wanted to make sure that it comes to you. You'll see on the date here, March 28th is when I got the quote. So I got it from them.
My only question is just, are they gonna move everything else too then?
Yeah, what about the copy
Essentially, is
machines, the printer,
everything
the
gonna move?
fax, the
Are they
file
get-
cabinets, all that?
So they, while they're here, it probably wouldn't, you know, for conference table, chairs, a lot of these items, when they said it's like $150, $160 to move that, they probably could move more of that. But we also have, I'd like to volunteer because I'll be participating, but we're planning on shutting down where everybody that's working is gonna be able to move the stuff over to. Copy machines and that we moved here, and then we all sort of got chewed out a little bit by the copy machine company that said, well, you can't just take it down the sidewalk, you should be calling somebody to move it, and the folding machines and things like
I
that.
guess for the price, I mean, I understand it for all the different work and things putting it together. I'd just like to see all the other stuff get moved too, so that way we're not messing around with it. And the employees, yeah, they're still gonna be involved, but they should be directing, okay, this is going here, this is going here, this is going here.
Sure.
But otherwise,
Well, what we can do.
I'd rather just have somebody else move it, so that way it's
With-
not a burden.
With
Just get it
April-
done.
With a move date of April 21st, what we have is the ability to get a fuller quote from them on what the rest of this move could be. And then we could run it through committee, and then the city council meets on the 19th. So I mean, you'd have a few days there to
Yeah.
have them move more if you needed. The big aim on our end was this furniture and taking it apart, taking the inventory, putting it back together, and making sure all the parts are there too, and how it's supposed to get put together.
Do you have the railing to go on the wall?
It's all in the back, yeah.
Okay, because what concerns me is item 4 there, where it says any additional pieces needed to complete the installation we purchased or provided by the city.
Yeah, the
So that
problem,
means-
the concern is with these, the cubicles.
Right.
And it's more so in the way it's sat, the way these are designed is to be into a 3-wall enclosure. And their big concern was if you need to prop something up where there's supposed to be a wall but there's not, there might be extra pieces that they'd have to go get.
Well, I
On my end, I'd be more inclined to cut out that corner piece that's not on the wall and just put the 3 in that are on the wall.
I'm just concerned at that price, you think that plus on top of that, we'll be buying other partitions or something to that effect or bracing. It's like, then all of a sudden 5,750 becomes 6.5, you know.
And if we ran into a situation like that, I think what we would do is just not have them do that and stop and then probably run it through committee like in May.
Which, I mean, I guess, you know, the other thing too is, yeah, for dropping off a wall, I don't want it to look all hokey. I mean, you got nice furniture, you don't want it to look,
You know, it all cobbled together.
yeah, either, so
We got good, or nice stuff, just,
just kinda
Gotta
being
put it in
mindful of the
right.
cost. I
Yeah.
understand it's probably gonna be a pain in the butt to do these things, I wouldn't wanna touch
I wouldn't want to touch it.
it. And I definitely don't want the city people touching it, so,
Did anybody
no
else
offense to
quote
them, just a pain.
this?
Well, the reason we went with them is because that's who sells this furniture. And on top of it, the one lady is the one who had bought it and now sells it too, if that makes sense. We didn't get any other quotes because this is the distributor for it's the certain brand of furniture. It's actually all the same brand, all of these items. And so that's who we went with.
And this isn't something that Office Outfitters or something like that sells, they don't carry it?
No.
Or anything like it?
Well,
What's that got to do with
probably
moving
it
it?
depends on, you
It
know.
just has to do with reassembling it.
Is that the familiarity with the product? Is this
Yeah.
company and its assembly and
Yeah.
disassembly and things of that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now I see where you're coming from.
And modifying, cutting it down.
Right.
And repairing.
Buffing, repairing, they know this stuff.
All right,
We,
All right.
just to add a little bit, I saw 2 Men in the Truck, I was there all day when they took everything down, and I was there when they brought it here, and I can tell you that we did not allow them to put that furniture together here. A lot of it was because of the time that was involved, it took a lot of time. But we did hire this company to come and set these desks up here, the
Oh,
way they are right now. I mean, it was much cheaper than this, because all they had to do was just set up those 3 desks there. But in part of that too is that they came and they took inventory of every piece that we have. So they know
So they already
to
know
a
what we
bracket
got,
what
too.
we already have. And they're confident in being able
Okay.
to reassemble what we want. So that's the other piece.
So
I'm
actually, if
sold
we got,
on it.
if you had somebody else quote it too, they'd probably have to quote the unknown,
Right.
they
which would
would,
probably end up
There's a
being.
logic in their familiarity with it.
Yep,
I see that, yep.
so you want a motion to go with those people and,
If it seems like the price is acceptable, I think it is, you know,
we
I
got
mean, if
$100,000
there's any unknown.
worth of furniture and we're only gonna pay $5,000 something, to put it together the way we want it, so.
Well, plus moving it. plus, it sounded like the first
Yeah.
time, so it's,
Yeah.
but it's still under that price, I mean,
Yeah.
it's still, we're still a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to go with them. Who is it?
Coakley.
Coakley Brothers.
And then the only thing I would ask is just that you check into what the price would be just to get everything else moved, since they're already gonna be here.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, if it'll be by the hour or by the item.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's a decent dollar amount, I'd rather just have them move it all.
Okay, we can run that through, finance committee then. In April, we'll get you what that quote would be.
But this will get you the commitment on the date to
Yep.
get it moved in.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
build on that, okay.
I'll second that motion.
Got the check, the second there, Pat?
Yep.
Okay. Any more questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Number 4, consider resolution 580 authorizing the purchase agreement and conveyance of real estate interests where the storm pond property to Agape. Okay, I think you're all familiar with that. That's where they, back of our shed down there, they dug this pond and everything, and we thought it was ours and ended up it was Presto's, and we had to buy it from Presto, and now the pond is in it, and we gotta sell it to Agape. So,
We
Patrick
do-
and I worked very hard on this one because people weren't talking to each other. People in Minnesota didn't think there was even a pond built yet, and people in Weyauwega knew there was a pond built, and the attorney said, we can't buy something until we know what we're gonna do with it, and well, we said it's already built, and the lawyer said, no, we didn't build anything, and
So,
So the-
we have,
anyway,
we
he
have,
worked his way between our attorneys,
Yeah.
he's got it worked out. And let's get it settled.
well, we have in our agenda though the possibility of closed session to
Yeah.
discuss this further.
Yeah, so,
And I would like to move that way, to discuss it first.
you making a motion then?
Yeah. I'd like
Where
to
are we
make-
gonna discuss this?
So there's two, it's, you'll see on your agenda, it says
Yeah.
closed session if necessary. The resolution is being recommended by Attorney Kelly because we've had the motions to work, to buy it from Presto, the motion, or a motion on an approval to buy it for the amount from Presto, and then there was motions to negotiate it from Agripeer, and then a motion to buy it for an amount, or sell it to Agripeer. What Attorney Kelly is saying is as you sell this and probably sell the other parcel down the road, you should compile all these approvals into one resolution so that it's a clean document. That's the resolution that he's put together.
I
And we've
see.
noticed a closed session in the event that you wanna talk about some of the topics that the mayor had mentioned, and we can. But in general, it's, the purchase agreement was authorized, or you authorized us to negotiate the sale for $35,000. We signed the purchase agreement, it was back November, December. The problem is there's a window of 120 days to close. And so we're coming up on the 120 days, and they're looking at a closing date of this Friday, which is a good thing. It's taken all of the 120 days, which I don't think anybody really expected. But if you want to talk about maybe why it took that long, we could do that. If you want to talk about why or how this is related to the other parcel, we do have the closed session that allows you to go into closed session to talk about the industrial land around the treaty plant to be sold, and that would cover all this, if you'd like to.
But
Plain,
it's-
plain and simple, we approve this resolution. We wash our hands of any, liability whatsoever. The DNR has done their study, or they have paid to have a study done on the existing, ground, potential contaminants and those type of issues.
Agripeer had received a Chapter 30 permit from the state to be able to construct the pond.
Yeah,
It has been passed to me that there will not be any more environmental review done on this
Okay.
before a closing on the property.
okay.
As far as the
Well,
sale goes,
Yeah.
we already approved this price, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's already done.
Mhm.
So, and you sold it for what we thought.
Mhm.
So the resolution is nothing more than the final agreement to what we've already agreed to, correct?
Yeah. But I do wanna be clear that it's only for the pond property.
Right, only for the
Talked
parks,
about
that's the
other-
only one we've done so far.
Yeah. we
So although I
have any
don't mind
other-
going into closed session and discussing it, this is really already a done deal.
I would disagree. I would disagree.
If
That's
there's
why I would like
question,
to-
if there's
that's why I'd
questions
like to
here, we need to
discuss.
go into closed session.
You're able to, if you like to,
So,
yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session in pursuit with, do you get the statute up?
1985 1E.
1985 1E, deliberation, negotiation, purchase of public property. Dealing with the waste treatment
Land, yeah.
plant, land.
A second.
You have a motion and a second to go into closed session?
Roll
Roll
call.
call.
Yeah. Rasmussen,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Kempf,
Right?
Gunderson.
Aye?
Appleby.
Aye.
Nadowski.
Aye.
7:57. Okay. At 8:16, back in open session.
Consider resolution number 580, authorize a purchase agreement and the conveyance of real estate interest, storm pond property to Agriculture. Want to make a motion, or what do you want to do?
You're looking for a motion to approve the
Resolution 580.
resolution.
We were waiting for you to read it.
The whole thing.
I could read it.
Verbatim. Our city attorney drafted this resolution,
Yes,
correct,
that's correct.
for the record? And all indications are that it is, protects the interest of the city in its best interest,
Yep.
okay?
We had you did make a motion? Or you did not?
There hasn't been one yet.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Oh, there has not been one yet.
I'll make a motion that we pass resolution number 580, authorizing the purchase agreement between the city of Weyauwega and Agipure and the conveyance of certain retail real estate interests referenced therein. I'll waive the reading.
Okay,
Just for you.
I'll second that.
I got a motion made and seconded.
And we do
Consider
a
resolution 580.
roll call on that then.
We'll do a roll call.
Nadowski,
Aye.
Appleby,
Aye.
Gunderson,
Aye.
Kempf,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
and Rasmussen.
Aye.
Motion
Carries.
carried.
Make a motion to adjourn.
No other questions? I'll entertain a motion to, sure.
Beat you to it.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks for all coming tonight for a
8:18, I
special
appreciate
meeting
it.
like this.
Yeah.